Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Learnify video. I know it's been a while and I missed all of you guys. Today, I've got an absolute banger of a video. It's going to be so high yield. We're going to be covering the best IB study plan for 2025, whether you are sitting the November exams and currently Year 12 student in Diploma Program 2 or 2026, whether it's May, November and you're a Year 11 student in Diploma Program 1. And guess what, guys? I have a special resource that I'll give you guys a link to. It's really simple, nothing too flashy, but if you guys use this properly and to the T, I promise you, you guys will achieve all your IB dreams. Without further ado, let's get started. What I'll cover in this video. So with IB, it can sometimes seem like the examiners and the people who design these subjects, their whole purpose is to make you feel behind and overwhelm you with countless hours of study. But remember, you've probably heard this already, but they all tell you to study efficiently and not just put in more hours, right? But I'll cover with not just study tactics. I cover study tactics in my specific videos that I'll be uploading in as part of this series. But for now, I'm just going to be covering general study practice, how you can shape your study, the overall structure of your study. That's how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to tell you what helped me get straight sevens while doing 4HLs throughout all my subjects, except for English. You guys know that part. I got cooked in the final, but anyways, straight sevens throughout all of my IB. We're doing 4HLs, including Math HL, Chem HL, Bio HL, and Econ HL. Managing all that and finding it super easy. Like, it was not that hard. And if you use this guide, you will be able to track it for 2025. If you're year 12, I'll give you some tweaks and adjustments. And if you're year 11, I'll obviously give you your version. So step one is reverse engineer your timeline. This is super specific for year 12s. Right now, you guys in DP program 2, you guys know exactly when your due dates are. Everything should be out. So what you do is work and plan backwards. So start at the due date, and this planner I've provided you, it will give you that room to do that. And the reason I like this planner that I designed myself is you can actually reverse engineer those steps. And you can start at the due date and you can draw a flowchart. That's what I like to do. I like to draw a flowchart from that due date when I have to upload an assignment, for example, and then the step before that, maybe clear up my draft feedback. And then a step before that, which is to submit the draft, find the due date for that. Step before that, maybe finish my discussion for my chemistry IA. There are countless examples here, guys. Completely up to you. I'll show you the resource at the end. It will be available on my Etsy. So look at the exam dates. So exam dates, let's use as an example. Let's say chemistry paper 2 is in November, like 1st. What I need to do before that is practice paper 2s on IB, like some past paper website, right? And maybe my aim is to finish 5 of them. And before that, I'd use a question bank. And before that, I finish my mocks. So see how I'm reversing and going back step by step closer to the point I'm starting at. That's so that your goal aligns more with the present. So it's very underrated, this tip, but reverse engineer your timeline. And I've broken this year, like future years, into 3 phases called foundation, consolidation, and mastery. So foundation, we'll go over. So foundation is going to be between now, so and November 2024 for 2025 students. But I'm talking about 2026 students, then it can be 2025. So basically, this is about Christmas holidays. Use your Christmas holidays well. What I need you to do is to make sure you're building understanding, and that means doing all the content, right? So usually when you finish DP1, you'll have your Christmas holidays, depending on where you are on this planet. But I'm in Australia, so 2025, from now on till December, just finish your DP1 content, make sure it's consolidated, and then what I need you to do is study a bit ahead and do some pre-work. Learn some of the topics in chemistry HL for the next year, right? And pre-study just sets you up and wires your brain to be able to understand that new study that much quicker. Next, I want you to master the basics of IAs. Usually, your school will get you to do some IA practice, and you'll know the general structure of an IA by that time. And some of you will also have uploaded your IA completely. right? So, for example, I think I'm not sure, but some subjects do have their IAs due in Diploma Program 1, so you might have already done it. But understand the basics because IAs can be interchangeable. For example, with the sciences like chemistry, biology, they're sort of similar in the way you could write an IA. There are some similarities, obviously differences, but you can always come back and relearn those techniques and reapply them. So master IA basics. Use light past papers. So what I mean by light past papers is you don't have to do full past papers because obviously you like for year 11s for example, DP program 1, you haven't covered half the content, so you can't do a whole past paper. Instead, find a question bank, search by topic, and do it. Keep track. I'll also go over how I want you to use past papers and past paper questions in a new video. Use checklist and space repetition. Space repetition is so key. I'm gonna make another video on it. If you guys know that, that's fine. And use checklist, and I'll provide you guys with a really good checklist at the end of this video. So next step, phase 2 consolidation. So Christmas holidays onwards. So after your Christmas holidays, so I like to use Christmas as a good timeline because with IB, it's really hard to have proper holidays. It's okay, you can enjoy your holidays, trust me, but I'm saying if doing a bit of study does not hurt. Right? So use Christmas as a guideline. Here in Australia, you have like 2 months of holidays from like middle December-ish. So the first bit is consolidate everything you reviewed in the first 3-4 weeks. And then after Christmas to the start of your new year, this is for the 2026 graduates, make sure you are consolidating your weak topics. So you would have got your exams back. Think about which topics you struggle with. Don't identify as struggling with those topics because with mastery, you can make those topics easier. Finalize your IAs that you got to submit. So a lot of the time you can finish your IAs during the holidays, right? Some schools allow that. Some academies allow that where you can go into school during the holidays, finish up your IAs or EEs, and then work on that. So I had the opportunity to do that, and that was really useful because that took the mental load away from me so that I could study for the UCAT later on when my EE was due. Next are practice tests. Practice tests and practice questions. So once you've done a question bank, for example, you might not have covered all the topics, right? You might not have covered everything there is to cover with, let's say, equilibrium in chemistry HL. But you can attempt some practice questions and make sure, right? This will be in another video, but make sure that you use the mark scheme because you need to use the language that IB uses for, paper twos and long responses, even short responses, extended responses, everything. So make sure you're looking at the mark schemes. Begin time block revision. When you're doing a set of questions, make sure you allocate time according to how many points are worth that question. So for example, instead of dividing up by, okay, 30 questions in 2 hours, I must have 4 minutes per question. Think about how many marks each question's worth. That will be a better metric. Next, mastery. So March to May. So this is where this is for the May students, right? Essentially not just March to May, but we're talking 2 months to a month before your final exams, right? Just use those 2 months or months before your final exam. This is when you guys need to do full past paper practice. I need to tell you guys this. Without past papers, you just cannot do well in IB. Like, obviously, people have different goals. Whether your goal is to just pass IB or to pass with flying colors and get 40 plus, get a 44 or a 45, it's okay. I ended up getting a 45, 44. I was on track to get a 45. Just messed up my English, and I can tell you, I would not have got there if it wasn't for past papers. And the most important thing is to mark your past papers and use timed revision. Do not just go and wing it and just give yourself ample time, right? A lot of people will do that because that's easier and they'll think, oh, I'm doing past paper, it's helping. Sure, it's helping, but um, if you want to run a marathon, right? You don't want to train it with by driving, right? You want to do it properly. You want to run. You don't want to just drive your car around the marathon track. That's a pretty good analogy, actually. Memorization, exam strategy. Do not memorize everything, right? But you will have to memorize quite a bit, right? So I want you, by memorization, I mean understand and memorize. understand the topics you need to understand, memorize the stuff you need to memorize. And then exam strategy. Think about how you approach the exam. This can be unique. We can go over it. If you guys have any topics, by the way, that you want me to explore, leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to go over that. Memorization and exam strategy. Well, you can memorize. Let's say you can memorize um, the group one medals, right? That's not really realistic, but like it won't come up in IB, but because you'll have the periodic table. But let's say you have to memorize that. Make sure you're done, and make sure that you can do it off the top of your head. There'll be stuff you will have to memorize, and just make sure you're done with that. Exam strategy, maybe approach the long response question in IB Bio HL first instead of going on to start the exam in the order intended. Don't do question 10 before question 1. It's really up to you, and that we can explore in a separate video. Leave a comment down below if you do. And focus on marks maximizing technique. So like I said, don't focus on maybe, let's say, database questions first. They're a bit harder, and they're worth fewer marks than maybe the long responses. That's if you don't have time for the long responses after doing the DBQs. But yeah, we can explore that in another video. Leave a comment down below. Let's move on. Weekly planning system. I've provided a weekly planning system that I'm designing, and I'll upload it on Etsy. So basically what you need to do is make sure all your subjects are looked after. And the reason I like this planner, it's nothing flashy, it's nothing like, you know, those YouTubers that have designed like crazy covers and stuff. This is really, really simple. It's really, really nice. You could print it out, you could upload it, you know, you can chuck it on a OneNote and then create duplicate pages. And every single week you can redo it on a Sunday. In 5 minutes you can plan it, maybe 15-20 minutes if you really want to be thorough, but track the study hours you've done per subject based on how much you need to allocate for. And this guide also provides you with a place where you can derive some motivation and also track your upcoming subjects, what's due, whether it's an IA or an exam. Reflect every Sunday. Like I said, Sunday should be the day where you spend about 15 minutes looking at what's to come in the next week. Next, time management tools. You can use Google Calendar. You can use the Pomodoro technique for your study, like 30 minutes, and study harder subjects first. So with these strategies, I would say like planning on Google Calendar is okay, but you can use my planner. I like physical stuff, right? Physical stuff just feels, it just feels classic. There's something about it where, if you have printed planner, it just feels a lot nicer than this digital stuff. And I feel like a lot of high achieving students do feel that. You don't have to use the Pomodoro technique because sometimes it does feel like, you just have to stop your study at 25 minutes, if you know what I mean. I can make a video on that if you guys want. And study harder subjects first. Yes, absolutely. And sometimes study harder subjects way more, like it makes sense, right? But a lot of people don't do this in practice, right? If you're allocating, let's say, 3 hours to Japanese, you might have to allocate 6 hours to Chem HL, right? Just because you're better at Japanese doesn't mean you're going to allocate more hours to it, because then you're not really maximizing your IB points. You want to work on what subjects you're weaker at, right? And a lot of students fall in this trap where they mentally revise and revise and revise stuff that they're already good at because it's easier, right? It takes the mental load away. That's not what you want to do. Study harder subjects first. Free study planner. So I've uploaded this study planner that's going to be there for you guys. So basically, this study planner is going to give you the ability to freely plan your study. So what I mean by that is that I know that's a bit tricky with the advertising, but basically you need some creativity to form your study. And I'm not going to be there to tell you exactly what to do. Like personally, I think that every student has a different approach, and you guys can use this as a benchmark, as a skeleton, and plan your study completely around it, right? So it's got a weekly planner, subject trackers, exam countdowns, and motivation pages. Those are the things like I discussed, and I will give you a link below once this is available on my Etsy, and you guys can download it. It's free, all right? And make sure you guys are gonna be supporting me and my channel by liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. Make sure you check out my other videos too, and leave a comment down below if you want me to cover a different topic. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, again, comment down below. I love helping you guys. And yeah, that's it. Have a good one, guys.